All right, guys, welcome back to the CSN All-Stars show match. This is week number 2 of best of 7. In between spawning at the bottom right-hand location, the blue Zerg player Sleep representing team xSixSleep Gaming. His opponent in the top left-hand location, it's the red Terran player SlayerSRyung representing Team Slayers. He's currently up 2-1. What a phenomenal game number 3. So phenomenal that my co-caster was kicked out, but hopefully he's back.
I actually just had a heart attack, man. That's what happened. No, honestly, Skype just giving me problems. I think it might actually be my internet, not even Skype. So definitely want to get that fixed. But that last game was so crazy.
Yeah, man.
Towards the end, it was so back and forth. And Ryung actually won. So he is going to be up 2-1 right now in this best of 7 series. And as you said, you already introduced our players. So this is game number 4. And it is played on ESV Ohana. And talk a little bit about this map in terms of Terran versus Zerg.
It is relatively new compared to Shakura's Plateau, the map from the last game, and Sleep did choose this, and the trend is true right now. The player who chooses the map ends up winning the game. Of course, we saw Sleep select what did he pick? What was the game he won? My mind is completely. That game was so long it felt like 5 games.
Oh, Shakura's Plateau.
No, that was the one that SlayerSRyung won.
Oh, you're talking about the game Sleep one.
Daybreak, sorry. Okay, so Daybreak
yeah,
was chosen by Sleep. He won that. Shakura's was chosen by SlayerSRyung. He won that. And now Sleep choosing Ohana. And yeah, a little bit about this map. It is made by ESV. Shout out to those guys. There's a natural expansion that's relatively easy to take. Little ramp leading up to that. The third is blocked off by rocks, but you can go around through that ramp at your natural expansion and take that whenever you want. And it's interesting because as long as you can have control of the as a Terran player, you can completely wall off the natural. And there's really only one attack path you have to worry about, which is right here on the right hand side. And of course, you can gradually take your 4th as you try to deny the 4th of your opponent. That's generally a good strategy to use on this map, but I'm in the middle right now. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's such a Zerg map. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's such a Protoss map. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's such a Terran map because it's so new. So people are trying to get their finger on it. I am more inclined to think it's in favor of Terran and Protoss versus Zerg, but a lot of people would call me crazy. Of course, Zergs love it because, well, some Zergs like it a lot because it's a long rush distance. You can prepare adequately for any pushes from your opponent, but your 4th base is towards your opponent as a Zerg player, and when that happens, especially if your opponent is getting a 4th of his own, he's going to be that much closer to you. Like the 4th is they're so close to each other compared to other maps. So, and it's also only 10 bases. So if you split this map in half as a Terran or Protoss against a 5-base Zerg, it's going to be a lot harder for the Zerg player. But we'll see what happens here. Sleep obviously choosing it, obviously has confidence in this map. So of course he's going to be gunning for the win, and I'm interested to see what strategy he elects to go for.
Yeah, I mean, I would. I'm not gonna say who's the better race on this map because it's still being discovered because it's such a new map as you mentioned. But let's go ahead and look at the openings of the players. Looks like Sleep is getting his metabolic boost on the way. 12 lings on the way. Oh my God.
Whoa.
12 lings.
He's still mining a lot of gas. This has to be a Baneling
gas. There is a Baneling nest being thrown down for Sleep. So we are definitely going to see some Ling Baneling aggression. No drones on the way at all, guys. Take into consideration, he's making nothing but Lings. 18 Lings on the map, soon to be about 24. What is SlayerSRyung doing? Is he going to be prepared for this? It seems like he's only with 1 barracks.
He's expanding and teching.
Expanding. Yeah.
When you're expanding and you're teching,
it's not pretty.
And all in from your opponent is going to be pretty darn hard to hold. But SlayerSRyung has probably done this build a million times and has probably faced this Ling Baneling aggression a million times as well. So maybe he has some way of defending against it, adding on another factory. This is definitely going to be scary for him. We're about to see a bunch of Banelings being morphed in from Sleep.
Yeah, that's actually a bunch of Lings on the map right now. 28 Lings to be exact, currently out here for Sleep. A bunker is there, but one bunker is not going to do too good against this many units coming out for Sleep. He's lifting the barracks to get some reactor Hellions, so not even adding any more real structures. He is getting a factory, which is going to be good with Hellions. But at the same time, man, Sleep is going to go for it. 36 supply to 37. Take into consideration 36 supply of units, pretty much here out for our Zerg player. Morphing in additional Banelings. How many Banelings does he have right now? 6 Banelings. Looks like Sleep's going to go for it right now. Preparing to move up the ramp. Lings making their way forward. SlayerSRyung is like, what the hell, man? What's up with all these Lings? Banelings are even going to get shown right now. Banelings, come on, kill SCVs or kill the bunker. Sleep actually, not even using the banelings against the bunker. Interesting decision. Using the lings, he's actually eventually going to clean it up. But behind this, so many more lings right now. 12 additional lings on the way. Sleep actually might have just done it right now. Moving with so many units here into the main. Hellions are out. And this is a long rush distance map. So it might be a little bit hard for Sleep to send in these additional lings. But, you know, looks like Ryung's going to clean it up. And the lings are actually still making their way across the map.
Yeah, I think Ryung should be just fine. I mean, he has a second orbital command. He can remake his wall pretty easily to his natural expansion. Does he even need to, though? He has those Hellions on the map, can easily go to the watchtower and see what's going on. And Sleep is going to drone up behind this. So, all things considered, income tab shows 18 to 17 in favor of the Terran player. He has 2 orbitals on the map, potential to make 2 meals at a time. I think the Terran player is not in a bad situation at all right now.
What do you think about Sleep's situation?
I think Sleep is definitely a little bit behind right now. Obviously, he was trying to kill his opponent there, wasn't successful, killed a decent amount of SCVs, but again, Ryung has that double orbital, can make 2 SCVs 2 at a time, can drop mules a lot as well. And Sleep behind that made a lot of lings. Like all these lings, they could have been drones. So if he had made those all into drones rather than all these lings, maybe he'd be in a better situation. But I still think Ryung is in a very strong position against Sleep right now. Look, Sleep is actually playing so defensive, adding on his second spine crawler here, not even thinking about taking his third, just focusing on droning up. But Blue Flame is about to finish for Ryung, and we'll have to see how much damage he can do with that.
Yeah, and once Blue Flame finishes, it might be a little bit of a problem here for Sleep if he's not going to be able to get enough lings on the map. He does have 15 lings, but with a very high number of reactored Hellions as well as Blue Flame, it's going to be very hard to deal with it. Might even want to morph in a few banelings once he spots these Hellions, but they are making their way across the map right now. There's a total of 8 Hellions already on the map for Ryung, controlling the watchtower. Lings are trying to move around, trying to get some scouting information. He's not going to see the Hellions. The Hellions are actually almost here at the natural, and very smart decision here by Ryung. Not even going to go directly into the natural, scouting around, making sure there's no third, and immediately, actually not even going to go into the natural. Lings are still controlling the watchtower, so interesting decision there by Ryung. He doesn't see the spine crawlers, so maybe he could have gone in.
This
for a
might
little
just
bit
be
of a
for map
poke,
control.
scouting.
This may not necessarily be to do a lot of aggression. However, he could just be waiting for these 4 additional Hellions.
Tanks.
He has some tanks here as well, so maybe the tanks will just try to brute force up into the natural expansion, focus fire down those spines. Sleep desperately trying to get a wall down, adding on an additional spine crawler. Knows some scariness is on the way. That Roach Warren is about 70% of the way done, and we'll have to see here. Is Ryung going to push here, adding on 2 gases, adding on a third? I think there's an SCV heading to the right-hand side, but here we go, Ryung leading with the tanks, and Hellions going to focus fire down those spine crawlers. Does does Sleep have enough to deal with this? Bringing forward the lings, bringing forward 2 queens, but that's a lot of fire here from the Terran player, marking away those Hellions, trying to kill those lings, and these 2 tanks going to prove the difference here, going to destroy the spine crawlers, targeting the queens now. There's another spine crawler here, though, and Sleep has 14 lings on the way, not roaches, and Ryung, can he win it here?
I think it's possible, but the thing is there's a Spire on the way, so Sleep really trying to buy himself as much time to get mutas on the map. Once mutas are on the map, obviously these tanks and Hellions are going to do nothing, but the Hellions, oh my god, just getting so many drone kills right now on Sleep. Sleep pulling everything from the natural. He is going to lose all of these drones. 37 supply for Sleep, 70 for Ryung, and this is just, I mean, he's not going to hold this. He has no kind of economic backing. He has the Spire, but he's not going to have enough for mutas, and GG gets called, man. So Ryung is going to go up 3-1 over xSixSleep, and that was an interesting unit mixer there from Ryung. Siege tanks and Hellions, and just went for timing. Overall, very, very smart. Yeah.
He recognized the tech path of his opponent in that early all-in. See, whenever you do an all-in, you know, and it fails, you gotta make some decisions. You gotta be like, all right. First of all, you have to drone up. So he was focusing on droning up. He was focusing on keeping his unit count up in case any scary stuff happens, continuing scouting, getting the spine crawlers up, and all those little things, making all those little units, all those little decisions means you're gonna be a little bit weaker than your Terran opponent, especially because the Terran, like, again, he had those 2 orbitals, kept making those SCVs, kept dropping those mules, and he just wanted to brute force with those Hellions and tanks, and the Roach one was so late. Sleep just couldn't deal with it in time, was forced to use lings, and lings against Blue Flame Hellions, not so good. But that's going to conclude game number 4, a little bit quicker relative to the other games. We're going to jump into game number 5. It could be the decider, as Ryung is currently up 3-1, so don't go anywhere. We're going to play a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with game 5 in between Ryung and Sleep.